Over there, we're trendsetter, and we don't have big competition in, let's say, that Mexican fast casual. There's a lot of other pizzas and gyro and other stuff, but I think in burrito, we are leading brand. And what we are competing is just making sure that we are consistently serving good food. We have amazing branding.
Welcome to the Financial Advantage with GSS.
We're back for another episode of the Financial Advantage, and I'm very excited. Today's episode is slightly different than what we did in the past. Today we have an owner, operator, inventor, creator, all things magical. His name's Ivan, and he owns Ambar and Burrito Madre. Welcome to the podcast, Ivan. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, Nick.
Yeah, absolutely. So for our guests and listeners that are not familiar with your concepts, just why don't you fill us in on Ambar, Burrito Madre, what inspired you to open it up, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely. Our parent company is called Street Guys Hospitality, and we operate in Europe. Our base is in Serbia, and we operate in Washington, D.C. We have, as you have mentioned accurately, we have two concepts. One is casual concept called Ambar. It's a Balkan cuisine. It's, I would say, the only concept that offer unlimited tasting menu. It's a set price menu that for $49, you can taste over 40 items and kind of indulge into exploring what Balkan cuisine is offering. And then we have a second concept, which is Burrito Madre, which is fast casual concept. And that one is primarily based in Serbia. We have 19 units. We opened one actually 2 days ago, number 19. And we have another 4 or 5 that are already in motion, few under construction. In the next 6 months, we should be around 24, 25 Burrito Madres in Serbia. And the plan for that concept is to expand in Eastern Europe and to open few stores in the United States. That plan for next year. Ambar currently has 3 stores in Washington, D.C., 1 in Chicago for a total of 4 in United States. And we have 1 in Serbia. We're opening second one on the Nikola Tesla Airport. It's international airport. Completely 2 different concepts. One is Mexican, one is Balkan. And that all comes from my kind of experience and my path life. Obviously came to United States, came here in 2005, started working in a restaurant business. I saw that there was opportunity to open something unique and different. There was no Balkan concepts anywhere in Washington, D.C. or in that regard in United States. And I was really excited to be the first one who can bring Balkan cuisine to United States on the, I said, big doors. And that happened in 2013. First Ambar opened in 2013. We're now in its 13th year on Capitol Hill. We have Ambar in Clarendon. It's 10 years old. And the newest one is in Chicago. And that one opened 6 months ago.
That's right down the road for me. Heck yeah. So you were excited, Balkan cuisine, because that's obviously where you're from, and you wanted to bring it to the States. Any funny stories, any challenges on that first location? What pops to mind?
There was only challenges. Nothing goes well when you want to bring a new cuisine to like major city where everything else is already been and tried. And introducing new cuisine in general is not an easy task. Everybody in the beginning was very resentful to recommend, or they were like, hey, why we don't do something else? But I saw the opportunity. I like being the first one in the category. And also the uniqueness of this concept is that we're offering this tasting menu, and having 2 very unique things for me was enticing. First, when we opened, obviously, we started with one design of the menu, and we thought that's the right thing to go. And we opened, we were pretty successful, but we didn't get that traction. We were busy, but we're not making money, and we couldn't continue in that direction. And then there was a lot of nights that we were staying till 2, 3 a.m., figuring out what is the next step, how we can make this work. And I think that with the introduction of unlimited tasting menu, where we allowed people to come in, and if they're not familiar with Balkan cuisine or the menu that we have on the items we had on the menu, they were able to order whatever they want without thinking they're going to break their bank. And they can order stuff that they would like pork neck. Oh, not order that normally, but because I have opportunity to explore the whole menu. Let me try that. And that gave us a momentum. We had first 6 years where we had a 45 to 50% increase year over year. And those were the good old days. We were small restaurant, 80 seats, we were always packed. It was really exciting bringing Balkan cuisine to Washington, D.C., where when I came here, when you mentioned Balkan, Serbia, or any other Balkan country, they was only talking about a war, about the revolution, and other things that we changed that narrative, and we brought the hospitality, we brought some other positive things to the forefront, and that was exciting for us, and that was kind of the driving force behind Ambar.
So was the breakthrough moment? So in the first 6 years, you weren't offering the tasting menu, the unlimited tasting menu?
First two and a half
$49?
years, we were changing menus. We were doing different items. And everything was good. We were getting good reviews, but we were not as busy as we wanted. And I think end of year 2, we introduced unlimited tasting menu, and that's where everything, I say, exploded. And after that, we were the first Balkan restaurant mentioned in a Michelin book, and it was the first time that Michelin ever mentioned Balkan cuisine as a cuisine. We were best brunch in DC 3-4 years in a row. There was a lot of momentum in those days. It's still going, but in the beginning, when you don't expect, when it just happens, it's a different feeling.
It's exciting. That was the light bulb moment, though. Where you're like, hey, how do we
Yes.
pack the seats? Here it is.
Yes, there
You
was.
wanted
And
to
then,
get, you wanted to get the idea and the concept out there, and you're like, how do we get it out there? And here it is.
and everything started. I started obviously in restaurant business. I was everything from busser to general manager to director of operation of a large company for Chef Richard Sandoval. And we had this concept in one of the first restaurants where I was a minority partner for brunch when we started first unlimited brunch in DC in 2009. And that concept was extremely successful, and we were booked 6 months in advance. Nobody did it in those days. It was all you can eat, all you can drink, and people were really enjoying it. They were having fun. And that whole element for brunch was easy to execute because you have eggs and tortillas and bacon. It's not this high cost product. And then I applied the knowledge that I have from brunch, and I was like, hey, this concept works. And in Serbia, we have something that each family celebrates its own saint. We have something called Slava celebration, when people are sitting at a table and the food just arrives, and the table is always full with food. You never remove it. And it's kind of this feast of good food, laugh, drink. And that kind of reminded me of putting those two and two together, got me to develop this unlimited dinner, which was not easy, even opening it in year 2, refining it for next 2 years, figuring out, okay, first we were very successful, but we didn't make money. The cost was too high, or how to design the menu. What do you do? And there's a lot of finesse until you get it to where first you have, from guest perspective, this is a really good value. And then from our end, we can have a good food cost.
Right. A lot of trial and error, it sounds like.
A lot.
I used to call it throwing pickles at a window. That's what I used to call it. Just see what sticks. And there was no other solution. I was like, I don't know what's going to work. We just got to try them. It's like,
If that's what I'm saying now, if you don't try, you don't know what's going to work. And you need to be really fast in kind of applying things. When I say fast, always with a strategy, don't waste time. And then also after a few days, few weeks, like, you need to understand it doesn't work, why it's not working. And you need to make a quick decisions to remove it or keep it. But trial and error is the way we got it, how we got here.
so then how did you come up with Burrito Madre? So you got sit down, Balkan, and then you're like, hey, let's do some Mexican over in Serbia. Where did that come from?
As I have mentioned, my first experiences, a lot of at first, I would say, hospitality moments were with Chef Richard Sandoval. And I spent 8 years with him. I spent a lot of time in Mexico. I was a partner in Mexican restaurant. I have familiarity with Mexican cuisine. But when we going back to Serbia, we opened first modern Latin concept in Serbia called Toro, which we still operate for Chef Richard Sandoval. But after that, we opened Ambar, and we have 2 really fancy restaurants that are on the river, really exclusive, but we wanted something for people. Like, not a lot of people could afford it. And we were researching, okay, what concept, we were going for fast casual because we want something that can scale, something that it's healthy, something that it's like really easily replicated. And we researched a lot of concept and we nail it with burrito because with rice, beans, protein, and salad, nothing better for you in our opinion. And then the operation expertise, we saw the opportunity that we can bring something new to the market where people don't understand, but we also believe that within the market where bakeries and burgers and grilled meats are predominant, we strongly believe there's something that it's fast, there is healthy and fresh, and that is efficient, can work really well. And we started with burrito. There's a lot of challenges bringing, again, new concept to the country. We never saw a burrito. That vehicle was not something that people were familiar with, and took us 3 to 4 years to position ourselves, to build that trust. And then after that, the growth followed. And like I said, now we are number 19th, and we're going to be soon at 23rd, 24th unit. And very soon next year, we're planning to come to the United States and start opening here. But it's efficiency, it's scalability that we're going for. And I think we succeeded. We managed to open a commissary kitchen. We managed to keep that consistency and quality of the product and keep everything else, the speed, precision that we wanted to have. And right now in Serbia, with our commissary model and everything we're doing, we managed to have ROI per store in less than a year.
Wow. I've never been to Serbia. I've heard many great things about it. Is there like Western concepts all around Serbia?
Right now, yes. When we opened, we were the first ones to come with this type of concept. It was the first modern Balkan. It was the first modern Latin. It was the first burrito. But lately, in the last 5 years, there is a lot of good restaurants, good concepts, and a lot of good stuff happening in gastronomy world in Serbia. We have a Michelin in Serbia that came 2-3 years ago. It changed. But I would say we were pioneers over there.
Oh, wow. I would never thought that. And don't take that the wrong way. I just, it's like, I think of Serbia being kind of, cafe, maybe, Eastern European kind of feel, right? But now it's becoming a little bit more
becoming a
Westernized.
metropolis.
Yeah.
You can find anything from.
So you mentioned, with the Burrito Madre concept, you were thinking speed, efficiency, execution, taste, obviously all things important. And now you're saying you're getting competition over there. How else are you going to stand out? Because it sounds like people are going to follow you. You're the trendsetter. And are you going to compete?
Over there, we're a trendsetter, and we don't have big competition in let's say, that Mexican fast casual. There's a lot of other pizzas and gyro and other stuff, but I think in burrito, we are leading brand. And what we are competing is just making sure that we are consistently serving good food. We have amazing branding. We developed this, it's called Burrito Madre, and we developed this whole family. We have a mother, she has like 13 kids, and each one is a character. We kind of evoking those characters and we're talking through them. It's really unique and different. And I think that now and the idea was also always when we were opening over there to make something that can be replicated in the United States. And as we know, Mexican QSR space is very crowded, but in United States, but we still believe with focusing on freshness, efficiency, bringing this branding and marketing with us, that we are ready to compete.
I'm excited for it. Can you tell us what market you're looking in to go with the Burrito Madre with first? Chicago, DC?
We don't have set market yet. Obviously, economic circumstances are making us rethink what we had plans for a year ago, and it's ever changing, and we kind of look at the trends and following what's going on. We still didn't make a decision. We know we are coming and we're preparing. We are now doing some rebranding and working on everything else that will allow us for fast expansion, but we don't have a market yet. For Ambar, we opened Chicago, we said in April, and probably we're looking for New York and Florida next for Ambar brand. We're not expanding quickly. We are sufficient and we don't have investors. Everything that we did so far is with our own money, making it, reinvesting it. Actually, the first restaurant in last 15 years that we took investors for Ambar, Chicago, and that's friends and family.
Are you looking to open up the
Everything
books
so
for further investments?
But obviously that's in the plan. It's just timing. When do you do it? Probably we'll open maybe 5-10 stores of burritos here by ourselves before, prove the concept before we get somebody in. But it all depends.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole nother ball game when you get into that. There's a lot of people out.
That's what we're going for. That's what we're going for. That's the plan is, like as I said, expanding in Eastern Europe. We already traveled in Poland and Romania a few months ago and met with a few people, look at the market and did some research. We're trying to focus on Eastern Europe and figure out what are the first 2-3 locations that we're going to go. The same thing in United States.
Awesome. So so Ambar expanding in the States, Burrito Madre, Serbia, Europe, and Burrito Madre eventually coming over here. So we said consistency, right? And how do you maintain consistency in different regions, different states, different countries? How do you maintain it?
I would say for both concepts, it's different strategy. For Burrito Madre, what we learn and what we are proving the concept right now, we're doing it for 2.5 years. Commissary kitchen is a really good model for expansion, for controlling costs, for controlling the quality. And the idea is that if we are in control, we believe that's the win. Like same way for Eastern Europe, our goal is to expand there, but our strategy is to make our commissary kitchen larger, and then we can ship product to any neighboring country. That's why we're looking at all the neighboring countries, because having people in different markets creating foods from scratch, there's a lot of opportunity for mistakes. It doesn't mean, but I think that's something that we are not ready to risk. If we keep that in-house and we control it, that's a really sustainable model, and we strongly believe that would be a model for United States as well. The way that we started, we opened like first location that is a little larger, like your flagship, and that location can serve as a commissary for next 2, 3, or 4. When everything works out, then you can invest in a commissary kitchen, which we already have. We're already doing it successfully for a while. We know how to do it. We know what we need, size, and everything else. That I think if we just copy paste that to United States, we should be successful in keeping that consistency. For Ambar, it's a little bit different because everything is made in-house. Like we make our own sausage, we make our own kebabs, we grind our meat. Everything is made in-house. There's nothing that we buy that it's pre-made, and that requires a lot of, like I said, different approach. You need to have a chef that it's really good and systems in place that to support everybody in the store to be successful.
So with the commissaries, and then obviously Ambar, there's a lot of local sourcing going on. Not a lot of national vendors, not a lot of big vendors. Is it primarily local?
Everywhere where we can. And as you grow, you may or may not find local vendors who can supply 20 tons of chicken. That's where the problem is. Like when you're small, and we started, that was always the idea. But as you grow, it's like you need to find the best quality, but you also need to have consistency. And you need to know who you're dealing with. And that's always a struggle, that you need to have 2 or 3 different producers in order to get your volume.
Right. I mean, you got your hands in all the pots then. I mean, you're dealing with a lot. How do you get sleep?
No, I have a partner. We're 50-50 in all the ventures, and we do work a lot, but that's something that we like to do. It's not hard. We have a good teams in place. Well, like I said, we've been doing this for 15, 20 years. There's a lot of people that have been with us from the beginning, and people we can rely on, people who have the same shared values, and they understand what are the expectations are, what to do. But at the end, everybody works hard. There's nobody, nobody
Well, not everybody.
who's chilling. But in order to make big things happen, then it takes time and effort, and you need to have a plan, and your execution needs to be perfect. Right now, it's a tough march. And from 2019 to today, our business changed like 4 or 5 times. Like everything you knew then, forget about it.
Well, it sounds like you evolve. Sounds like you do it really well. Trial and mistakes, trial and error, that kind of thing. And I mean, dang well, like very well. So
So far, so good.
yeah,
It can always
and it
be
sounds
better.
like,
It can always be worse.
I mean, almost opposite of what I did. It sounds like what you do is you never put the cart before the horse. I don't know if you're familiar with that saying, but you build an idea and the infrastructure around the idea, and then you go and execute. I didn't do that very well. I just said, I've got the idea, I'm going to go do it. I didn't really plan for much. I just went and did it. You seem to be doing it a little, I would say a lot better, a lot more control, a lot more thought behind it. And it seems to be working really well. So kudos to you. That's awesome.
But I can say that's today. I also started like you, which I think everybody starts. You follow your heart, you follow your gut feeling, and you do it. But as you go through the process, then you refine everything, refine the process. Then you need to educate yourself. You need to educate your team. You always need to learn and get better. And that's what it is. When we opened first Burrito Madre, we had a tortilla machine making, like literally baking tortilla right in front of you, flat top. It took a lot of time. People are waiting in the line. I was like, hey, this does not make sense. Like, we need to change something. Like I said, it's a trial and error and putting systems in place, but always kind of learning from your mistakes. And as you grow, I don't say learn everything, but like you get a grip on your business and you know what the requirements are. Now you go back into planning mode. Now you can plan 4 or 5 years ahead and you can be smart. But like I said, with what's going on in the world, like nobody can plan for COVID. Nobody can plan for other things. That's why you need to be ready for whatever the life brings at you. It's complicated. It's tough business, as you know.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I mean, things evolve and things change all of the time. With that said, where do you see like dining and restaurants evolve? Well, how do you see them evolving? You've got two different complete concepts. How do you see them evolving in the future? Not your concepts, but just in general, just like restaurants in general, like dining. And what are you thinking?
Hey, we need to see the trends. We need to see trends that are here today, trends that are here today, and they're going to stay, and some is going to disappear. But obviously, I think I'm a big believer in value. Like if you create something that it's really good product, you keep consistency, and you add value to it, then you're winning. And on the top of that, you need to perform on design, hospitality. It needs to be a full package. And I think that looking at what's going on in the world today, economic circumstances, I think this value proposal is going to be the key. And that's why I believe that fast casual concepts have a stronger foot today than casual or this fine dining establishments that people are on the go as always, but they like efficiency. They're mostly focusing now on quality more than quantity. And that's why I think that coming into this market, there's a lot of competition in QSR and in Mexican QSR, but getting that kind of healthy mix between product quality, quantity, speed, design, marketing, the whole package would be the key. Because you're competing for smaller market, smaller group of people today than you did in 2019. Then you really need to be special.
So when you said value, you're not saying like the QSR, some of the big mainstream concepts. It's like almost a race to the bottom. It's who can be the cheapest and the fastest. You're saying value in good food, good experience, something that's more long lasting. That's what you're.
I think, I think it's a full package. When I say value, obviously, if you sell burrito for 9, I put 8, I put 7. That's a bad strategy, and I usually refer to that because I don't know if you read Blue Ocean Strategy book. It's exactly what it talks about. You need to find your niche. You need to separate yourself from everybody else, even in saturated fields where we are, and you need to try to find your tribe and to see if you can attract them. And that value is community. That value can be like shared values. And at the end, product quality and then price. And like I said, it's a full package.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot be $20 burrito and have everything else. Like it needs to be, it needs to be a full pack. You need to find that like a happy middle.
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean that's similar to how Will and our business works too, is right. We found a niche, and we do a value proposition, and we find the people that would benefit from the value and latch onto the value, and then we price it accordingly, and then we develop relationships, and hopefully they're long lasting forever.
Exactly,
And it's similar,
exactly.
if it's serving food, or if it's doing accounting work or whatever you're doing. That's a very similar set, like a mindset for that. So
That's-
awesome.
Goes for any business.
Right. What's say I am, I'm an aspiring entrepreneur and I've got this idea and this concept. What would be your number one advice for me? If I was just completely green off the street and I've got this great idea and I come to you, what would you tell me?
It's a good question.
Kind of curveball.
It would be a long conversation. As I said, there's no magic sentence or direction, do this or do that. I think it's like all about planning. It's all about doing your homework, and before you do everything, to prepare for where you're going, what do you want to do, and then also consider where you want to go with it. What's your end goal? No, it's a lot, but a lot of Q&A are questions and answers you can get if you just start and you believe in the brand and you want to do it, but you don't know where you're going. You make a lot of mistakes. And I think it's comprehensive plan, looking at everything from every angle, spending a lot of time together. And me and you would be talking a lot, and I would be giving you a lot of tasks and kind of homeworks. And I think at the end, we would be landing on a concept, idea, design, who's your target audience, how would you approach it, what's your price range, where you want to go, what type of locations we're going to open, how many locations, what's our 5-year plan, and things like that. I think that there would be really, in my opinion, comprehensive analysis and a lot of brainstorming and a lot of research, other than, hey, let's have a coffee and go do this.
So would you honestly suggest that, saying like, maybe my response would be like, look, I just want to open up one. That's all I'm thinking about is one. Executing one location, doing that, and then seeing where it's going. You would kind of say, that's probably not a good idea. Like, let's think about...
If that's a goal, that's...
Yeah.
At the end, is like, what's your goal? In order for me to advise you, you said, I just want to do one, I'm never going to move. Okay, good. How much money you want to make? What your family needs? Like, what are your aspirations? Okay. How big is the store needs to be? How many seats you need to have? Let's do some traffic analysis. Let's see how much money you're going to make. It doesn't matter. No, I don't even think that going big is the smart thing to do. I think that I would have much more money today if I had 2 stores than with 20. It's not guaranteed, but I would tell you probably yes. That's why it's not about how big you want to go. It's about where you want to go. If it's one store, great. Let's wrap that up and let's figure it out.
So we were talking about goals and, what's your end goal? What is your end goal? Like, what's the legacy you want to leave within your brand's concepts or wherever?
For Ambar, I think that my goal was always to put a Balkan cuisine on the global culinary map. And we see ourselves as a Balkan ambassadors, and we're proud to do that. And that's what we're doing in DC. That's what we're doing now in Chicago. Even in Chicago, there's so many Balkan people, but we are the first modern Balkan cuisine in downtown Chicago. And I think people coming, trying our food, they've been seeing their faces, and they've been very proud. That's what we want to do. That's with Ambar, and then spreading it through the United States, maybe even Europe, all the major cities. And then for Burrito Madre, it's our entrepreneurial spirit, and we are operators at the end, and we want to make sure that we can prove that we can make a fast casual brand that can scale quickly, that doesn't need a lot of money to open, and at the end doesn't compromise the quality. And that's pretty much our goal. That's like building concepts that respect both cultures, but also have a smart growth. Obviously, we know Burrito Madre has much more opportunity for growth, being fast casual and being in that category. We see a lot of more potential, and that's what we are focusing on today, and that's the plan for next 3 to 5 years. We know we have it. We know exactly how many stores we want to have in Eastern Europe, how many stores we want to have in the United States, and hopefully have a healthy exit in 3 to 5 years.
What's your go-to if I go to Ambar down to Chicago for dinner with my wife? What do I have to try?
What do you have to try?
What's the best thing?
Everything on the menu, obviously it's approved by me. And I say
So
it depends. Depends what you're in the mood for. But I would say if you go there your first time introducing yourself to Balkan cuisine, I would say either it's stuffed sour cabbage, that it's slow cooked for 5 to 7 hours with pork belly, jasmine rice, and root vegetables. It's really unique dish. There's a lot of sweet, sour tones, and pork belly melts, and it's delicious. And I don't know if you can try it anywhere else. Like, we make our badass pork sausage. It's our recipe. We make it in-house. It's really good with house-made mustard. It's really good. In Chicago, our wood fire oven makes some really good bread and pizzas, flatbreads, because that's from Macedonia. Macedonia have these flatbreads, the called pastramalia, but we use that as a vehicle. We're making some cool ones. For example, lamb flatbread is really good. And we have slow roasted lamb and slow roasted pork, which rotisseries in Serbia are very popular. I'll leave you there, but there's another 30 items for you to try.
And now I'm hungry. Damn it. So I'm German, so that's my ancestries. I'm German. So you kept saying pork sausage and with mustard. I was like, yes, I will eat a lot of that. So is it all you can eat? And unfortunately, I haven't tried it. So when I go to DC, now Chicago, it's down the road a little bit for me, but I'm going to go try it. But is it all you can eat for?
Yeah, unlimited tasting menu, $50.
What?
And all small plates. Everything is prepared to order.
You're about to lose
Food
money.
comes
I'm
out when
6'1",
it's ready.
225. You're about to lose money.
We love you. We love you. We want you. We want more people like you. You're our best marketing.
Is there anything holding you back? I mean, on both sides. Like if you had a magic wand to make something disappear, a roadblock or a challenge, what would you use that magic wand on?
I think it's from our end, because doing everything on our own, I think that having more financials behind us would speed us up dramatically. If we have an investor, like, we can open much quickly than what we're doing with our own money. That's one thing. And from my end, like, I just prefer to have good economic environment. Like, there's so many obstacles that they're not even operational. There's just so many things happening that you can't control. In Serbia, we had protests last year. We were closed. The city was closed from November through March. Can't control that.
Whoa.
Then you have situations like in Washington, D.C., the National Guard in D.C. in August. There's nobody on the streets. Like, those are the things that I would like to eliminate. Everything else is easy. The things are normal, like just steady. I prefer that. We can make, and these things like COVID and the things that I just mentioned, I know how to prepare for that. We know how to react, but nobody's expecting them. And those are the things that, even with this really hard business, it's not easy to defend from. But another thing is just getting a backing behind us. But Burrito is really profitable, and we have good numbers and quality of food. Everything that we're doing, it's going to come. It's just timing. It's a matter of timing.
Well, within our network, obviously us being in the financial world, we talk to banks, investors all the time. I mean, is your phone on? I mean, how do people get in touch with you if they want to invest?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, they can contact you and Will, and it's easy to find me. And I'm talking to a lot of investors and just prepping the whole path to investment. And we've been in touch with a lot of investors. We're talking. There's a lot of interest. Nobody pulled the trigger yet, but that's normal. it's a slow process.
Right.
And we know that it's slow until you get to that point, and then it's really fast. That's why it's okay.
So how do you
But if you have anybody that is interested, then you can send them my way.
Okay. All right. I mean, we talk to lots of groups. They're always looking to get into something. And you're like, it's like, okay.
Yeah. The problem is with Burrito Madre, because we're in Europe, and there's some few companies that are interested in having presence in both Europe and the United States. That's why I think that even here, I'm not talking to a lot of people, because I believe that we need to open maybe 5, 10 stores on our own. And then I believe it's going to be a lot of eyeballs on the brand.
Got it. How do you manage the businesses? Like, so you're obviously here in the States right now. So you're in DC, you're in the DC metro.
Correct.
So how do you manage 20 Mexican restaurants in Serbia, a couple in DC, and then one in Chicago? How does your office look like?
My partner is in Serbia,
Oh, okay.
and I'm in United States. We talk every day, 2 hours per day. We have a corporate team just for Burrito Madre that is doing that operation, and then we have a team that runs we have Ambar, Toro, and we have a Buena Vida, 3 large concepts. And we're opening airport in Serbia, which will have 4 concepts. We're opening Ambar, we're opening Burrito Madre, we just opened In and Out, which is grab and go concept, and we have a small bar that we're opening, and that's managed from Serbia. Then here we have 4 Ambars, and each that concept has its own small corporate team, myself leading it as well, and we're fully involved. We're, like I said, we're not absent CEOs or founders. We are in the business 24/7.
Right. That's awesome. A lot of passion. I can feel it in the conversation. So I'm excited to try the food someday. I bet you the passion just comes through too. I'm really excited.
Thank you.
And I'm going to take a picture. I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to be eating that cabbage, eating that pork sausage, and you're going to be like, yeah, he likes that. Awesome. Well, let me do this. What would you, for all the listeners out there, whoever listens to this, what do you want to leave them with? Any kind of lasting impression or a lasting word?
We covered pretty much everything regarding, not everything. Our story is long. 20 years cannot be put in 1 hour. But I think that from conversation and some smart questions, we brought a lot of things to life. And it's just understanding that if you don't have a passion for this business, you suggest to be part of it, because it's tough. Sometimes it's tough business, it's tough to make money, and it's hard, no question asked, and it's just getting harder. That's why it's having a passion and having a spark for hospitality is the key. And improving yourself daily is really important, because it's ever-changing environment, and you need to keep up.
Okay, I've got a couple more questions. I got to do it. So how do you stay so sharp? Like, I work out, I try to eat clean, I do those things. Like, how do you stay so full of energy and sharp?
Oh, that's exactly what we do. 3 times for Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I do swimming. And then I have 2 days I do some body exercises and try to eat healthy. Tomorrow I'm going to go to Chicago, and we're going to have a 20-item tasting menu. It's not going to be as healthy because we need to cover a lot of bases from menu changes. But I'm trying to be as healthy as possible, knowing that every 2 weeks we are having tastings and we're going to go off balance, but just in balance, like drinking to like very low or nothing, and stay focused. Exercise, food, business, family, and then healthy mix.
Yeah.
I'm all. I need to be very careful what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Can't anywhere go get drunk and wake up in the morning and you can't think.
Yeah. I gave it up. I had to put other things way more ahead of, the party scene. So no more for me.
It's just a conscious. That's what I'm saying. Planning.
Mm-hmm.
If that's your plan, how are you going to get there? Definitely not by drinking and drugs. That's sure. And there's another way.
Right.
And still, it's not guaranteed.
Right. 100%
But at least you give yourself a chance.
Well, cool. Well, this has been great. I really appreciate the time. And yeah, anything else on your end?
No, that's it. That's it. I think I hope I answer your questions. I hope this helps you guys to spread the word about your company. I talked to Will, and he told me what's going on, and it's really impressive, your growth and everything you guys are doing. Just keep up the good work, and we'll stay in touch.
Well, likewise, Ivan. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in to The Financial Advantage with GSS, the video series for restaurant CFOs and financial professionals striving for operational excellence and strategic success. If you found this episode insightful, don't forget to subscribe to The Financial Advantage with GSS on your preferred platform, or visit gsslp.com for additional resources. We'll see you next time.